Consistent self-improvement, everybody. You are now listening to American gypC Podcast. I am Classic, your host, and I'm here with my co-host,
gypC.
And we are also here with the other co-host.
Mark. Hey, everybody.
Pull your mic close,
Yeah,
Mark.
pull the mic closer.
Test. Can
Yeah.
you hear me now?
All right.
Is this thing on?
There you go.
Yep. So thank you to everybody who has been listening and been tuning in. Thank you to all our guests from the past. Thank you to just everyone. Just want to say thank you to open today's session up with. And I guess we can just finish up what we were kind of already discussing. Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson.
So you say it was your first time tasting a little bit of being held up. Have you ever experienced anything like that here in LA? You said
yes,
it was your reality.
Yes, in the sense of having a family that was involved in their own businesses. So there was that element where someone did try to rob the store. A couple of times I've seen that, because my family had businesses.
I'm grateful to
Yeah.
never experience.
But I'll tell you something that happened. That was a trip. The person that held my grandparents' store up was like around the, a community member.
Yeah.
Been in, been out, not like a stranger from somewhere.
Yeah.
And when he did it was just such a shock because it's like not there. Like that doesn't happen in my grandparents' store. It's a free zone, if you will, and they're loved and respected. So the guy got like, I don't even know, maybe like 5 feet. And then people just started taking him down. Like, you don't do that. Like that. I mean, it was like a community ass whooping. Like, this is Mr. and Mrs. Robson. Are you crazy? Like, what the hell are you doing? And I was impressed.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, why would you do that? My grandparents are sweet. Like, but it was also a sign to me of like how respected and loved that they were in that area, that so many people would consider, a very dangerous place, South Central LA and Los Angeles, 80s, whatever that meant.
Yeah, and 2000s, West Jackson. That's what we're dealing with as far as we're looking at now. I can say I'm grateful, like I said, never to experience that, but we weren't far from it. I guess, and that's just, I can't say we were away from it. No, we were right there, West Jackson. Walk around big cellos and everything. We could have seen the person that just didn't respect it, but like I say, even grateful, even Atlanta, never experienced that. DC, never experienced that. Here, haven't experienced it. I don't put myself in the situation either, but I could say I have been in the situation as I was street performing downtown. Anybody could have been like, yo, I'm going to try to catch Buddy one day and rob him. No. But, it's understanding your environment. Yeah, that's one thing. But when did I notice the switch? It had to have happened in between probably, or the super decline, maybe 2008 or 2000, maybe 6, 2007, when I left, maybe 2006. So around then, I wouldn't say after Katrina. I wouldn't even say after Katrina necessarily.
I don't know.
I wouldn't blame it on Katrina. I know some other cities saw crime change, but no, I wouldn't say. Or maybe that's something I ain't pay attention to.
Some people say that it changed the dynamics of the city significantly. I mean, it is what it is. It's just like any other place that's going through a cycle of improvement at the same time as we're dealing with inflation and shortages and all the other things that are happening, that it's like you're not really seeing it covered widely within the country that is happening, but you're seeing all of the after effects that go along with something like that, including people being more willing to take chances, to take things because they feel like they have to do it. What is the reason that people are just running into Louis Vuitton and all these
But
places?
you don't have
just
those stores
like,
there, though. That's the funny thing there. You don't have those.
But they're gonna go where they want to go. I mean, that's why the area that's been having a difficult time is also the same area that's going through this big transition. That's Fondren. And so they had a series of different issues related to carjacking and other crimes that were on the rise in Fondren. But it's the same mentality. People are coming from an area that's suppressed and might not have the same economic stratosphere, but they still want a piece of it. And you got it right in my face. And I'm right down the street. Like, I'm not justifying it. It's just about the inequality that still continues to exist. And so what's happening in Jackson right now is just reflective of what happened in Jackson from the very beginning, when you brought enslaved people to an area that was populated by some rapists and murderers and killers. And that's the history of America. So when people are like, oh, what's going on right now? The same stuff that's been going on since the beginning of the beginning.
Yeah, a lot of things in history is kind of suspicious, though. Even so, sometimes I guess it depends on. I'm starting to, I guess, look at things today and to really get a better understanding and, like I said, consistent self improvement. It's going to be, you're going to have to pull yourself out of a lot of situations the way things are looking, because your mindset is everything. So some people can, run their history back. I can run my history back. I also can find a part of my history that I probably wouldn't agree with today, family wise, going off into one of my genes. But even coming to now with the bamboozling that we're dealing with, bamboozler, back to my word, I'm gonna make that word famous. Bamboozlers. We've been bamboozled.
Rest in peace. It is the day that he passed, February 21st.
Who?
Hoodwinked and bamboozled. Malcolm X.
Really?
Yeah.
You say bamboozle?
That's a part of one of his speeches he always was talking about. I thought that's where you were referencing it.
Not really.
But
it had jumped in my head basically. What, yesterday or today?
Yeah, it's been a couple of days.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
I don't know.
But we've been bamboozled. So who's the bamboozler? So that's why, that's the bamboozler, giving that more of a title versus, or not saying versus, but just giving that a title and making sure, we bring that out as that's an actual person. You know how they have that, if scam likely was a person, or those types of things. Like if bamboozler was a person, and to be able to put a photo with that, you would have probably a bunch of politicians or some phony doctors as the bamboozlers of today. Yeah, but that's where that word kind of just jumped out from. I forgot where we were going with the rest of the conversation, but
I got lost after.
But it is, I guess Black History Month. We haven't really covered Black History Month. Things have been so busy. Guests, back-to-back recordings. And we haven't really been picking our topics. Our topics have come according to the guests that we've been having. There's been some very interesting guests. But it's also always been, like you say, Black History Year. So
Black history is every day.
Yeah.
It's Black Future
It's getting
Month.
deeper now. It's a
Black
lot of
Future
stuff that
Month.
people are uncovering, dealing with, the Native Americans, that it's an eye opener. Shout out to Laura Shaky on Instagram. Share a lot of wisdom, and always question the roots and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, some stuff we've learned. It's just been funny.
Yeah, most of the stuff is like it's been rewritten and covered up. Because it's like,
no, they did.
I mean, of course, but it's just like the levels of it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
We had to like change everything. I mean,
but I guess that goes back to the bamboozle error.
Even the whole Native American history, right? Like
how, I guess we even bamboozle ourselves. And I guess that's something that as a people is going to be so tough in the future, because I still think about some of the things that I've learned and I've, one day question. And a lot of people, as they got down to it, you just don't have time to think about certain things. So some people still probably wonder, some of my listeners probably wonder still, like, what are they talking about? What are some of those things? It's a whole list of, if you have a question about something in life today and you just decided, you've never asked about it, but if you had just anything and you go to Google and you look it up, it may be a couple of thousand other people that's either asking that question, researching that topic, or, curious about that same exact thing that you may have questioned. And then eventually, as we all do, come to, things that, oh, I thought about that a long time ago. And then you come to the day like, oh, that is what happened. So it'd be those types of things that.
But it's so much censorship. I don't even know what I can say without YouTube censoring it or taking down the video. We already got our first strike, but it's like I'm finding a lot of stuff, but now I'm noticing it's all in other sites like Rumble, Substack, places that are not censored. But
and this wasn't even us giving information. This was another qualified individual giving information. And to have a great understanding of how much misinformation we receive from the television, what's accurate information? So that comes back down to where, the bamboozle, excuse me, a lot of people, or we are so confused. A lot of us still, I can say me, I'm still probably pretty much confused on a lot of things, but it's what I choose to put my time into as well. So even in the future, how do you really move towards fixing a problem without really having a certain group of people involved along with it? How can you, basically that, how can you really fix a place like West Jackson while having the people involved with it, but you're still gonna have a lot of other people that's not involved with it? How do you even start to move towards that without a bunch of money, riches? You're gonna need a lot of that, or a lot of money. And even to come back to it, how much does it cost to would it cost to really fix streets?
I don't have the answer for that.
Yeah, I don't know. Hard to say. Millions.
I mean, but the thing is, it's a valid question, but it's so many answers to that. It's not just one answer, because, initially as an organizer, I'm going to say mobilize the people, get everybody on the same accord to move as a force and stop the beast. But the beast has many different heads, and one of those is about keeping people in disagreement as they get closer towards wins and victories. There you go. Back to that. So that's not me being defeatist. It's just to say that when you're the beast, your sole focus is just eliminating the enemy. But when you are this group of people who all have hopes, wants, dreams, and trauma and corruptibility. You know, think of all the people that you thought were on your side, if you will, only to find out later through history that they were agents or that they had been corrupted. That's a real possibility for people who are committed to that type of work. So even being able to trust and be open enough to think, okay, this time this is going to work, because it's not like people haven't always had these things to encounter. That's part of being revolutionary, is going against all of these big things that seem like not one person can change it, but one person plus all the other people create the wave to change it. It's just about how much commitment people have in their chest right now. And that's a variable that it's just different. It's not every time. I think there's been a willingness to examine where we are as a collective, but there's so many things in the way, like what you said when I walked in, the distractions.
Yeah, the bamboozle.
Yeah. It's just distractions. So you have to really focus in the midst of everything that's going on, because so many thoughts pop into your head. You have to choose the ones that are effective, not the ones that are ineffective. And that's another method of the bamboozler, to get you indecisive.
From
so many choices, you just got choice overload.
Yeah, and you're too busy with the rat race to kind of take time out to do your own research about things.
I just have to accept what I got, because I don't have time to research what I really might feel about this. People, that's what they're taking, just these little bite-sized opinions and disagreements, depending on what you watch, listen to, read, or get through social media, are the people that you work with. I guess that's the other thing.
But I guess even to go to the things that you question about the whole life thing, though, but this whole what's going on. I can't even say about life in general, but just like one or two things that you question. What are things that you've ever questioned that was definitely, besides diet, that was taught in growing up in the school, that you learned? It's like, yo, that's far, far away. That is a lot.
How much time you got? I went to school.
I guess, okay, we can stay at one subject then. We can go to science. What was something in science that they might have taught you?
That they might have, or that they did.
That they, forced upon you.
I didn't force anything upon me, because I was not that kid to just be like, oh, okay, they said it. I never. I needed other evidence. So libraries and my people, I would always ask my people, like, they said this in school. No, that's not true.
Right, but think about how much of that.
Every day. But you still had to go and learn it and make sure you pass the lies that they are teaching you, even though that might not be true. It's a battle just to be in the middle of a school system that's continuously teaching lies.
Because I try to think about it for myself. Like, it's like I feel like I was there, but I wasn't. I was like a C student, basically. So I wasn't there. I know I wasn't there. I got to a point where I cared so much, but yo, it's just to pass. It's just to get on up out of here. But it's not like, no, I'm finna reach to absorb all of this knowledge and be able to spit it back out whenever don't nobody need it in the music side. So,
but that's just the way the education system is. I mean, like, how many guests do we have here? They all complained about the education system and the failure of that. And it's like, that's probably why you didn't want to take it in. A lot of times, even science class, a lot of things that they teach you is not practical knowledge. Right. But it's not. A lot of times when I was in science class, let's say in high school, I'm always wondering, like, okay, give me like a real world example where I would use this. Of course, there are some people that in advanced part of their career where they're using some of these things, but like a lot of times it's not practical knowledge, and it's a lot of theories. Like even in college,
it's more confusing than anything.
Even in college, it's like a lot of theories. Even I went to computer science, and it was a lot of theories. They didn't teach you development. Like a lot of what I do at work, I had to teach myself after I got out or before I even went to college. But you know, you got to go to college for the formality, but at the same time, they're not teaching you. And this happens in other fields as well. Like other people complain where they're not teaching you, like, you know, practical knowledge. It's mostly theories and the way they're teaching it as well. But yeah,
it's the failure of the American education system.
But then when somebody comes from another country with a degree, it's not valued here. They make you redo it.
Yeah, well,
a lot of times
you have to redo everything. If you were a nurse, you got to redo everything. If you were a doctor, you have to redo everything. And that's just a couple of examples, but they don't really accept many credentials.
But at the same time,
even if they're more advanced,
you're not doing well in the ranking.
Like your credential is too advanced.
Yeah,
you got to dumb yourself down.
Yeah, you got to learn our way. Okay.
Yeah, that is cold blooded.
Your textbooks haven't been approved by the U.S. government, so
not on code,
right?
Oh, no, I feel for my international brothers and sisters who try to deal with that, because there's so many different hoops that you have to jump through.
Yeah, there's like doctors who come to this country and they have to work some other job that, you know, they didn't even go to school for.
Yeah.
Just because their degree is not valid here. But then the system is failing as well.
And it's a deep rabbit hole, but you know, like I said, sometimes you got to at least try diving in it sometime. I think people just never dive in it, as we can see with where we are now. Some people, they just take the lettuce and I'm good.
Okay, I want to talk about somebody not taking the lettuce. I think, I don't know, he might be taking the lettuce, but I really just want to talk about the stem player. And what do you guys think about it?
What's
the stem player, the device that Kanye is selling?
I haven't heard of that.
Okay.
Educate us on.
Well, basically, he's saying that he's going to get his money his way. And so he's not releasing the Donda album on Apple or Spotify or any of those platforms. He has his own website, and you can get this circular device that plays stems of the song. So if you want to isolate like the vocals or a particular part of the track or whatever, you can do that up to so many times. Anyway, it's $200, and you'll get that device plus Donda will be already loaded on there. So he's already made over $2 million in like 24 hours because people are like, yeah, fine.
I'm still confused. What does the device do?
It plays your song.
Yeah.
Just think of it like an MP3 player.
Okay.
But without any earbuds. It's just a little kind of speaker with some lights. And so it's going to play that album. But also as it plays, you can move your finger over the different parts of that little device, and it isolates the stems that you select from those songs. And then you can just play that.
That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so
I'd have to look more into it, but
yeah, that's what's going on right now. So
yeah, I'm not that kind of person.
Really talking about the artist's ownership and the fact that they would only get 12% from the album that's released on those platforms. And he would have to have like 221,000 streams versus selling 11,000 devices, which is what he's done already. Right? Like just the math and the numbers on that alone is interesting. Other artists have used this device before. He's not the first person to use it to release an album, but it's just.
How does that work when he's under contract? Like he gets to release an album this way? I figured.
But they can't force him to distribute it through those means.
I guess it depends on your contract.
Yeah. Yeah. But apparently his contract allows him to do this. Because he's doing it. Yep. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting when we're relating business and we're talking about how to change things. The other way outside of mobilization is to change your mindset and then change everyone else's around you. Because everyone's not going to believe in something that you believe in.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
But if you change your mind and make a decision, this is what I'm focused on, and this is the only thing that I'm focused on, and going after it, your achievement will serve as a testimony, even if you don't talk about it. People are going to see it. And, oh, yeah, I remember when.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not going to remember them telling you you shouldn't have done it.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Or
they're gonna no, they're not gonna. They're gonna be like, "Yeah, I remember when you was doing that."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the part of life. I'm not gonna say culture, but that's a part of life. Because some people, it's a different ball game. With our guests,
but that's what you have to do regardless anyway to be successful. It's like keep believing yourself and doing what you need to do regardless of the feedback that you're getting. Well, that's different. I mean, of course you can get feedback from, if you're a business, from your clients or whatever, but just feedback from the people, whatever. Like you have to do it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Or else you're not going to make it through.
Yeah.
If you're waiting for.
Yep. And it depends on what you're doing.
Acknowledgement.
It's like, I don't have the same juice for music like I used to, even as we're sitting there talking about Kanye. And I'm like, man, I just can't listen to music the same way. So it's like, it'd be no point in me investing in as far as in the device. I guess me personally.
Why don't you listen to music?
No, I'm saying music don't vibrate the same, of course. I'm a music producer, of course, or used to, I could say. So I can create my own music as well. But silence, like I said, getting into meditation. I've mentioned it before on other podcasts. Getting into meditation and you realize that as a musician or a producer, it's constant listening to stuff, constant noise, so you don't get a lot of quiet time, as much quiet time as you might think. So once you get a taste of that quiet, and I've gotten a taste of that quiet, I appreciate the quiet a little bit more. So it's easier to not even want to produce anything or want to have to create because there's a quiet in my brain that is like, I'm good for now. Just be quiet.
You get Andre 4000.
Say what?
I said that's Andre 4000 right now. That's where you at. Not even 3000. You 4000.
It's like it's a different level of peace. Like I said, music still is not.
The silence is golden, though. I mean, I agree with you. It's like you don't have to make us understand why you want it to be quiet versus listening to music. I mean, you've been doing it for a good portion of your whole natural life. So there's still music all around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I drive with the radio off, I still hear tons of things. The world has its own soundtrack. So.
And it has, for me, I'm used to a complete connection. So I can produce a song, write the song, and record it. And when you listen to it, you get mostly me. Even now, you don't get too much of that with a lot of songs. You get this full production. And then I can't sit there and I can't, listen to music as if I'm not thinking about the person that's actually projecting this music or this thought or this idea or anything. It's not, I'm not a part of the presentation anymore. The lyrics is hot, but somebody else wrote them, and there's no meaning there anymore. There's no connection. That's just me personally, because I can connect my music, period.
But if the song sounds good, does it matter?
So there's definitions of, for me personally, it goes along with the bamboozle again, to where right now you can literally play somebody's album to a certain person or of a certain fan, and they would say, man, this album is hidden. It sounds good. All the beats on there sound the same. It could be the same auto tunes on everything. It could be there could be not too much creativity. It could sound like everybody else's beat, but there's still people that will still say, this is it. But it's not just a circle of people anymore. This is across the board.
Yeah.
That's never been.
Yeah.
That's not,
a program and everybody following the program.
Why? Right. I didn't follow it then. And it's like, just because you say that that's what everybody like and that's the vibration, this thing. I don't give a fuck if Tupac put that same track out. I'm not going to be able to feel it like that.
Listen, if Tupac put that track out, you're feeling it. I don't care what you say.
Well, nowadays,
think about
this.
Think about this. Because if I can't listen past the intro and I already know what this finna, and the bass hit and the hi-hats kick in, it's not Tupac frequency coming through there.
No, my point was that Tupac on anything you're gonna feel, but I get where you're coming from.
But
It's trash. It's trash on a whole nother level.
But the reality is, it's a good chance that Tupac would listen to it and be like, this is the same thing all the way across the board. I'm not finna be on them tracks when we got Dre. We got all of these other styles of tracks that take that shit and leave it there. Why can't we move on to a different style of music?
I don't want you to. I got you in a good spot.
This is the best.
This is the best. What do you call it?
So now they forcing it to make us feel like, bro, you just hating, or there's a generation that's just hating on a certain style of. It's like, no. When we had gangster trap rap or gangster rap period, when Jeezy and them was hitting, all of them beats wasn't the same.
Yeah, everybody had their own
fire.
Style.
Well, the point was to be different.
But
that's what people like. I'm from New York. This is our style. I'm from the South. This is our style, et cetera, et cetera. Go all over the world with that. Everyone had their own distinctive style. But right now, everyone wants to be like everyone else more than they've ever wanted to be like everyone else, because of the phone and the connection, because you get to see what everybody's doing. And the vibration right now is getting.
That's a bamboozle.
But I think part of that is also like the game is rigged that way, right? Yeah. So in order to get part of that, why it's not just that they want to be accepted. I think whether it's the algorithms or whether it's the industry controlling, what's coming up to the top, they feel like they can't. Sorry, I lost
because
my train.
you can't change.
My brain kept going.
You don't have the right to change as far as you don't have the self-power.
There's plenty of people making music out there that sounds like nothing like the industry, but they're not getting the spotlight because of like everything is kind of tech, right? Like Spotify and all of these platforms we're talking about, they still have a lot of the biggest playlists on those platforms are controlled by industry people. So there's gatekeepers and people being filtered based on what type of message that they're pushing out there.
They're looking at selecting a particular type of artist, and then along with that, a particular type of brand. And along with that, all of the stuff from the commercials to the videos to the clothing to whatever other opportunities, that's what you're getting. That we're controlling who's putting the Super Bowl show on right now. It's a lot of stuff that people are talking about with the Super Bowl show. I love the halftime. Okay, cool, whatever. But the point is, where's that getting us now? Like that was monumental. That was historical. That was all the words that people wanted to insert, and we were entertained. Now what? Now what happened? What happened with Brian Flores? What happens with the fact that Colin Kaepernick still ain't playing? What happens with all of this stuff that's happening besides just a tag on the side of a helmet or some writing on the green? Like what are the strategic changes that have been put in place? And when are people going to start to see owners that look like players? Well, it's when they stop calling them owners. You know what I mean? Like it's still a plantation based scenario, and that's no disrespect to any of my football people. It's just a model.
Musicians.
It's just a model that it was built on.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why the term is used, because it's a very clear model. My dad got super upset with me when we were having this conversation, because I was like, what do you think the combine is? It's the same thing that they used to do when they used to trot us out and look and examine and pull back teeth and weight and this and that. It's the same shit. They're measuring you. Yeah, you could say no because they're gonna find out how well no, man. It's built on that system. And it's the same thing with the music, like you talking about. Well, guess what? The music, that's why they wanted Bob Marley dead.
Yeah.
Because of the music.
Yeah.
Because he was across every culture, language, whatever. His was love. So you subscribe to love, I got you. Okay, he's dangerous.
But that still don't mean you can't switch the beat up.
You sound like T-Pain. He said, please, for the love of God,
Yeah,
please.
Seriously, I checked out for a while. That's why I can't complain.
You know.
Like, I was just asking him for his opinion, but I stopped listening to music as well. And I used to be the music person in my family. I had so many CDs on their CDs, and I was up on all the latest stuff, and I don't listen to music that much anymore. And I have Spotify, and I can get free music anytime I want, but no, I don't listen to music anymore. I'm not finding anything albums that have more than one song.
I'm listening to a lot of old.
I'm sure
it's about a complete package, though. Right. As a musician and understanding, it's about a complete package. And the formula, whatever formula that they set in line, even if I'm producing, I could sit and start with one melody, and I can basically almost go off that one melody before I even put the bass in, or to put the percussion or anything like that in. I can already tell what the melody is saying the track is gonna be. But after you get the melody, sometimes the other instruments are supposed to accompany, that same vibration of the melody. Mm-hmm. The bass don't always have to hit hard, or a bass kick don't always have to. The song don't always have to hit. It doesn't always have to have hi-hats. It doesn't have, some people know that, but even just the whole, like I said, the melody could say this is a sad song. Don't just rap about drugs and whatever.
No,
on that.
Can we chill out on the samples as well? Like some people.
That's what's going on right now.
But
it's just a hypnotized.
But that's for me personally. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they can feel it, but that's the biggest disconnection for me. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's even, I could sit and listen to some instrumentals for a long time without putting lyrics on them, because, you're able to stay in the melody. The melody gives you a certain vibration. Even when I drove Uber, I could throw on something, and the listeners, the people in the Uber, if it was listeners, whoever it was in the car, they would tell you what it made them think about.
Yeah.
And that's basically how music is supposed to be. I should be able to sit there and listen to your album, all the instrumentals on your album, and I should be able to know without your lyrics on them what certain tracks are going to be about.
Yeah, and some people, they just don't care about that. They just listen to bop their head, or like to know what all the cool people, quote unquote, that they think are cool. You know, some people aren't just into. They're like, that's too much. I just like the beat. I don't care what the words are saying.
But I can say the same thing as well. I like the beat as well.
But I like the same beat. You're trying to convince me that I need to listen to. I want to listen to the same beat over and over again.
I can't do that
for hours.
That's a program.
Yeah, that's all it is. But I mean, look, we could debate about it all morning, all night, all evening. It's not going to change people like what they like.
Not,
and
though? Why is
people
it? Why
are who
can't
they are.
we
We're
change
not all
it?
the same.
We got to change
it's
it.
It's not
though.
saying that they have to like, you know,
but
they
we
have to change.
We have to.
Well, play some music on a different station.
That no, we have to sit down at the table and figure out how to change it at the table. But we just can't sit here and be like, it ain't gonna change. We've seen music change from day one.
You have to be able to control it.
It's not about
ownership.
Yeah. It's about having the options. Right now, it feels like a lot of the stuff floating to the top.
No, there are options though. There are a lot of amazing. There are a lot of good musicians out there.
I mean, now that we have Spotify, there's a lot more options. But
I just listen to my own playlist. I still have albums, I still have CDs, I still have tapes. So I'm kind of in a different vibe. Like I listen to talk radio now.
What's the youngest
I listen to like
song?
jazz, or I just try to change it up because I don't want to be on that program, and it gets weird, right? Because it's like I want to.
What's the youngest song in your on your new playlist? I can't
do it anymore. The youngest song.
Yeah, like more like the newest.
I haven't made a playlist in years. Yeah, it's all old stuff. Like literally.
I get bored of my playlist.
Yeah, because I mean I know everything that's on it. But
I can look at life and understand, okay, that happens in life. You know, the older you grow, your playlist gets older, and it usually reflects a certain part of time that you lived in. Or that vibrated with you.
No.
Old people don't listen to a lot of young stuff though. So they listen to
what? It depends on. I mean, that's a big generalization right there, because they're all old people aren't the same. So some, I mean, the ones that
soft
old people
favorites.
But a lot of young people. I've been listening to. I've listened to gypC 107 since I was like 5. Like I grew up. We're Motown. We're old soul kind of anyway. So listening to something from someone who was already passed away when you were young wasn't necessarily.
But you think the new generation gonna be the same?
I think that there are some that listen to older music. The fact that you're looking like that, we're going to have to pause while I run to the restroom. But the fact that you're looking like that says that you don't believe it.
You know who Tupac is?
Yeah.
No, who that?
Yeah. How old is it? Yeah. I mean, we'll be back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
What's up with the good news? What's some good news, y'all? Tell me something good. It's been a minute since I've seen you in person. Let's do that part of the day. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Everything is good, I could say, because I can't say anything is bad, but I'm going to have to say everything got to be straight right now. Everything is pretty good. Busy with the podcast, learning how to edit faster, figuring out Wi-Fi situations with loading without having to completely move into a new apartment. It's moving. Podcast is doing,
I know we've been heads down. Just like
right.
you said, everything is good, but Like, we've been heads down on this podcast for like, of course, there's work, but
right, focused. I mean, I think that this is probably the most that you all have been devoted to this particular project in a while, as far as the number of podcasts that you're producing.
Yeah, we never predicted it to be like quite like this.
Yeah, this
so
is
fast.
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But ask and you shall receive.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Seek and you shall find.
You showed up like you're late. Yeah, I brought extra here because I'm a little late.
Mm-hmm. But, and for the listeners, make sure you're tuning in every day, because we do have our next, we got a lot of episodes scheduled.
Yeah. At least 4. I could say 4 for the rest of this week. So it'll be every day.
We got 2 weeks of podcasts scheduled, so tune in every day.
I mean 4 for release. We're recording 2 tomorrow, 2 the next day, and another 2 the next day.
That's too many details.
How is that too many details?
No, it's not. We've been doing multiple per day recording. But yeah,
and it's really, it's gratitude, grateful. It's the experience of a lifetime. This is a up to 4 mics, but this is a podcast, downtown LA. We no in particular topic. It's not like we're restricted to talk about one thing, so that limits the burnout. We can't. You don't really get burned out too fast talking on one thing. I don't see how too many people just stay focused on one topic as well. That's a different ball game. So with us having a lot of different kind of guests, it's definitely making it worthwhile.
That's always something we struggled with. It's like keep it, niche market, or, talk about a wide variety of things. Because for the algorithm, it likes it to be focused in one direction, but
we can't care about
for long-term longevity, it's like we like learning about a lot of different things and just don't want to limit it.
And I at least got to enjoy it. I got to enjoy it.
Anything you watch consistently, it's never really one subject, at least for me. Like the news, you never get the same thing there, or
it's gonna be fear.
Some podcasts. Oh, well, yeah. But I don't know too many TV shows, but 60 Minutes. You're not gonna hear the same. It's not news really, but you're not gonna hear the same type of stories being presented, or National Geographic's, or Joe Rogan podcast, or anything I personally watch consistently. It's just I like learning about a lot of different things, so we decided to keep it that way.
And that was one of the main goals, to learn from, at least have a platform where I can learn from a lot of different topics. Just educate me on a lot of stuff, because can't trust all of these books.
And it's funny because you're thinking you're talking to the CPA about, taxes and business and different things like that. And, you end up getting good marriage advice, or, you just never know.
Life advice.
Yeah.
Period. Just the experiences that people go through that are not famous, and that, just are not out there in, movies and stuff like that, but just people that are just regular everyday people. Yeah, it's a lot of amazing regular everyday people that you could talk to on a podcast, and these same people were qualified to have probably a discussion on Joe Rogan as well, if that was the case.
We're calling them regulars because society places value on celebrity and fame and all of that stuff. So.
Yes.
And some of them,
they're not regulars.
Yeah.
They could be celebrities and stuff. I personally just wouldn't know, because I'm not in that bubble. And that's,
Well, I got a question, because his name has been mentioned. Where are you guys with this whole Joe Rogan fallout, backlash, conversation, apology, non-acceptance of
I could say
apology.
I'm not really anywhere with it because I understand it. You know, I understand the whole vibration of all of that's dealing with that.
So what is it for those that don't know?
It is the distraction. It is the bamboozler.
Distracting you again.
The bamboozler. It's the same reason why our only video that we've ever really had with the doctor having a particular discussion, that video was removed. We've recorded a lot of videos, but a guy that was a super fan of the guys that went on Joe Rogan's show, the doctors, that one in particular video just so happened to got taken down. So when we understand the bamboozler, you know, that's a whole different type of situation. Now, I understand, the other half of that, because it's like I said, it's a distraction. It's not necessarily something that me personally, I don't feel on it like India Arie probably felt on it. I got music on Spotify. She got music on Spotify. She's a whole different type of influence. Me even, to get involved on that level, or even to understand, or even it's hard to, I can't, it just don't make sense because it's so somebody else's situation to a certain degree as well. And like I said, I understand the bamboozler. 100 million to Joe Rogan. And like I said, I can't even really understand the whole situation. But I've seen worse in a lot of different other situations going on from that. Even just to sit there and watch Ron Paul and Fosse have a conversation. And you like, so y'all just gonna sit here and focus on bro Joe.
Okay, so that's where you stand. What's your feedback on it?
So I kind of agree with, certain things. Because initially when it came out, I'm like, damn, how did I do watch Joe pretty regularly. Not as much anymore, but I'm like, how did I miss him saying that so many times, the N-word or whatever. But like days later or a week later, I heard something about a lot of it was kind of taken out of context and like sound bites and cutting things, editing stuff. And
we also heard Joe Biden's version as well.
What?
His court version of what Joe Biden saying. We're repeating the same type of style of videos that they were saying was taken out of context.
Right.
But when you go back to Gary Owens, Gary also says, nope. You just don't say it. You just don't say
exactly.
it.
So, I
did. Gary. Yeah.
I know India Arie went on the whole campaign about it.
Yeah.
And I did comment on a few of her posts about it. Because initially I was like, and she did clear it up that she didn't quit Spotify and wherever else because of Joe. It was like she had issues with the platform altogether, not paying, artists fair for their music.
And that's completely understandable.
That's very understandable.
Yeah.
We hate how much Spotify pays for spins. But sorry, where was I?
You were just saying your opinion on it. Yeah. So that's it.
I don't think as far as Joe, like, yeah, it doesn't matter if it was taken out of context or whatever. He shouldn't really say the word. Like, there's, and you know, some of those clips, he was like with somebody like Bill Blur, which I think is married to somebody black, but you never hear him say the words, or like you said, Gary Owens, or, you know, other people. So he should know better not to say the word in general.
Can't help themselves.
And that many times, but then to come back and apologize. The apology was a little weird because
that was forced.
But
he was saying, like,
let's keep it, but think about it. Let's go back to it. Like I said, he did say it a lot. You know, like they say, he said it a lot of times. But also looking at separating the personal with the bamboozler.
Well, he put himself in the position to be fodder for the bamboozler. It's not like he doesn't come with controversy. He's been controversial since probably before the UFC. I mean, it's Joe Rogan. At the end of the day, you got to know who you even dealing with in the first place before you even get to a point where you're like, we can't believe that he said that. You can't believe he said that. What about all this other shit he said? The reality is he used the word one too many times, in the sense that if you use it once, that's too many. It's just off limits. This is the understanding that all white people, dear white people, and anyone else that is not a part of that, you are not allowed to use that word.
Right. And
that I don't care what friend told you that. I don't care what your favorite rap lyric have in it. I don't care that it's post-racial 2022. I don't care if you just always wanted to. Just like you don't hit the red button in the White House that the bomb is connected to. You don't say it, but that's the only thing that you can use to feel like you are a part of a discussion, or to even talk about a particular situation. Where are the negatives for the white people that is so hurtful or so oppressive or so whatever the word is? Because it still all goes back to, but you can say it. It's no really exploration of the history of the word or what's behind it, or even how it being a social construct. It's just crazy, because you don't have to be black to be not an N word, but a nigger. That's the total different
but
thing.
Even understanding the psychology behind the bamboozle, that's why I was saying, for me, I'm even that it's so hard to even comment on the situation, because like I said, and I understand it from the personal point of view, but looking at it from the public point of view as well. But for Joe Rogan personally, you got Joe Rogan, then you got Spotify, and then you got India Arie making this super action. And there's probably some other musicians as well.
Neil Young started it.
Right, the other musicians as well. But even to understand the bamboozle. Now, like I said, the correction in Joe apologizing is to tell other white men, don't do that. Don't do what I did. Even if it's in context. Number one, because I said it a lot of times and it accumulated. And I said it, I thought I was saying it out of context. It accumulated, and now it's being used as a weapon against me. So I'm one person. Now imagine you could say 50,000 to 100,000 white men that also want to use the word out of context. Now you got a lot of niggers going around.
Well, there's no in context. There's right. No context.
I don't think he should have added that he was like it was taken out of 12 years of clips and all of that. Like that's kind of walking back the apology. Like you made a mistake and you shouldn't have said the
That's
word.
my
but
point.
To say that, that's why I said the apology is weird, because I get what you're saying. It's a distraction, but it still doesn't make it right.
Nobody right. No, it's not right. But you mean to make the video or for him to say it? No,
for him to say it.
It's wrong. Him saying it is wrong. The video saying it is wrong. People trying to remove their music from Spotify saying it's off this one thing.
Yeah. That
is wrong as well.
Yeah, I don't get that part, because I get it.
The video being put together by whoever had the time to sit down and make that video.
People got plenty of time. The point is, even if it was a video with him saying it one time, it's too many times. It doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter about what context it was used in, who spliced it together, what he was talking about, who was with him, who got a black best friend and a cousin. I don't care. None of that. I care. You shouldn't have said it. Period. However, there are things I've said that I shouldn't have said. It all goes around. People make mistakes. It's what you do thereafter. And to your point, it was a weird-ass apology. And it's probably because you don't think that you have to apologize because you say it. You do say it.
He definitely realized
you are very comfortable, and that's why you're lying to all of these people, because you know as soon as it's over, you're gonna be like, "Damn, nigga, I'm glad that shit's over." Your black friend that's sitting right there, and then you're gonna relate your. He hasn't stopped using that word. He has not.
I can't necessarily say that that's the exact picture that you would have for his situation.
That's the picture I have.
Right. But I would say
that
I could say he feels bad because he's never heard himself say it like that in a clip. He's never heard somebody put a clip of him together of him saying it like that.
What
back
if he's
to back.
the one who released it? Because somebody else threatened him and said, "Here you go, I got the clip. If you don't say it," this type of stuff happens all the time. This is Hollywood. This is Hollywood. This is the
Wait, but if he don't say what though?
Because he could have been blackmailed into releasing that. Now this sounds super suspicious and spooky and extra, but I'm just saying all of these things happen. But the point is, I don't feel.
That's why you can't take it personal.
But I don't take it personal.
I could say even because the thing is, I guess to go back to the India Arie thing, the reason, because like I never thought we'd really have a conversation on this either on podcast, but I listened to India Arie. Mm-hmm. I could say a lot on Spotify.
Yeah.
So it's different. It's not like shit. I'm gonna go and find another platform to listen to India Arie. No, I'm not. Me personally, that's not. I ain't got that kind of juice in me. I ain't got that gas in me. It's convenient for me on Spotify right now. Cool, but I ain't even listening to music right now. So I'm really not motivated to do it. But like I said, even she's having a hard time pulling it off. I'm mixed feelings about that. I'm like, yo, okay, that's good. I got a little bit more time to listen to it on Spotify. But versus, after that, it's like, what's my connection here now? What do I have to do to support India Arie? And this is like personal things, but I can't be in that personal bubble with everybody else.
But to her,
I understand
it's not personal. It's political. And it's business.
Now I understand that even more.
And those are inextricably linked. Like, it's not her personal, I'm just mad because Joe Rogan used it. It goes way deeper than that because it's a part of a system based on what we were talking about earlier, the plantation
But
shit.
Why can't she go to the table with a bunch of other artists with her status that feel that exact same way and y'all make a power move instead of it's just this...
Because that's part of the program too. Is to have somebody speaking out about it. But then you just get upset about it, and then nothing changes.
That's the problem,
right?
Because
we mad about football. Why we don't have our own? We mad about basketball. Ice Cube got the big 3, but you know what I'm saying? Like, just get your own.
And I guess find you somebody to build you a Spotify, right?
But, of course you could. And all black people.
Right. And it's not that expensive. But to get these high profile people with disposable income to get together and build something, that's something else. That was my thing with a lot of artists in the industry. Like, a lot of the stuff that a lot of their products are alcohol, and I get that's the industry heads that's kind of, you know, directing it in that way, because everyone is selling alcohol and perfume, and it's like, is that really all that we're trying to push? Nobody thought to build, you know, I don't know, Spotify, like Jay-Z's the only one who thought to build a platform. I don't even know if that platform is 100% is, but whatever.
He sold it, but he got some money.
Right, because he's done a lot of things like that where he kind of sells it. But anyways, sorry, I lost. I got lost in it all, but
I mean, it's fine. I just want. I don't really want to, like, it. To me, just to be a 100, I don't give a fuck about Joe Rogan. Like, that's not where my bread is buttered. I know you guys listen to him. He's cool, but that's the thing. It's like, really don't. I'm not surprised. It wasn't like earth shattering. Like, oh, another white man has been caught saying the N-word. Now it's the N-word. When I've never been called the N-word. I've been called the actual word. It's never been like, hey, you N-word, get over here. No, it's totally different. So even just the desensitized part of trying to get me riled up that somebody is using the N-word, and you guys say it all the damn time, but now you don't want to say it because it's such a terrible word, but you've been saying it so recent. Like, listen to those text messages for those assholes that killed Ahmaud Arbery and the type of shit that they were saying in there. Is people are gonna say what they want about this whole thing with Joe Rogan, but whether you believe that it's an attack on him to try to distract or to try to keep him from being who he's been as far as a person who has a different idea that's not mainstream, and so he gets attacked for whatever those ideas are. It could be that, but it could be both, or it could be neither. But my thing is, for me to even comment on it was really just about people seeing 3 individuals with 3 different opinions having a discussion about it and moving on. Because there's still that part of our society that cannot agree to disagree. Like, they can't even talk. Like, right, we can't even have the discourse because you're so wrong that I can't hear it. I can hear it whether I agree or not. It may change my mind, it may not, but we suffer when we don't hear the other side. And that's really where we are when you're asking these questions about how can we change it. When people who are from affluent communities in the cities that we're talking about that used to have a beautiful economic scenario across the board that was based in some sort of equality in education, and now they're dealing with gun violence and lack of, it's because the people in affluent communities don't want to hear about that. They don't want to be taxed. They don't want to have anything that's different than what they've always had. So to them, Black communities have always been dangerous and scary. If it's more statistics on the news, that just means there's more fear. And we know that that is something that is going to be used to control people. So, again, my question is, what's the good news? You guys told me everything about what's happening with the podcast. But what I'm really asking is, what is the good news in the sense that every time we look around, there's all this bad news. But the good news is that, for me, we can still have this outlet. Because some people somewhere, I mean, you got a video taken down, but, like, they can't even gather 3 people and, like, you're saying where we're at. Oh, no. They can't say we're coming to you live from this location,
right,
with the windows open and like, no, that's not allowed. We still have the power to raise awareness by having discussions and thinking critically. And sometimes not being correct at all and just talking shit, because that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? And it's not super serious. It's not like we're saying this is fact. No, this is how I feel about it. I might be tripping. I might not even remember I said it, but I said it tonight. That's what what you do when you with your people. You know, you talk about how you feel.
Mike.
I just want more people to talk about how they feel. For real. Like, not the okay, it's this is this. No, like, really, how do you feel? Because the more that we have those conversations, the greater our connections are going to be when it feels like we're getting so isolated.
Yeah. And I guess to go back to the music vibration, when we were talking about music and the vibration of music, to go back to some of the best music, acoustic soul, India Arie's acoustic soul was some of the best vibrating music of all time. And it's shocking that even look at where I'm at now, and like one of the best, the most soul touching artists is threatening to take the last of the best soul touching music off a platform that can reach everybody. And it's like, I know it's a bunch of other platforms as well, but you know, that's a whole nother type of spiritual, you know, warfare that's going on.
At the same time, I don't want to condone people doing their own thing with the music, because the industry has had such a strong hold on the artist and what they can do and what they can release and all of that. So I don't want to condone, like, if India Arie wants to create her own platform or go to another platform that she resonates with more, like, that should be her thing, because Spotify at the end of the day is a large tech corporation.
Come on, we can't limit ourselves though. Congratulations to Isaac Hayes III on Fanbase.
Yeah.
But no, we can't limit ourselves. There's so much football and basketball money and baseball money and music money. Come on, man. No.
I don't want to gloss over Fanbase for those listeners who've never heard of Fanbase. Yeah. It is a social media platform. A new social media platform that is started by Isaac Hayes III. It was crowdfunded through Start Engine. I think they met their goals already, but we're on it.
They're still raising.
Yeah. They still got a little bit left, I think.
Yeah, it's I think
they may have just reached 2 million.
Yeah, because I'm like, I thought this weekend or something they might have reached their goal.
They got it.
But if you're on Fanbase, American Gypsy Podcast, we're starting to build our content there.
Yep. And we're still learning the platform. Give them time to grow. It's a tech company. Give them time to grow. Give them time to, well, it's not a tech company. It's a tech company, basically. Yeah. So, you know, just give them time to grow, to get better, just like you gave Facebook time to grow, just like you gave Instagram time, just like you give all the other platforms time to grow. Give them some time to grow. You want to be one of the first ones over there. And yes, we need more platforms like this, period. And, you know, I wish a win to a lot of people. I know I'm more of a outside of the box person. I don't really get too connected. I guess I'm sure some of our listeners probably know I don't get too connected with the celebrity talk and that stuff out there, because it's, you know, it's just not something that I'm good at. Mm-hmm. But, you know, everybody has their opinion. I understand situations. Just like I said, I can look at both sides of that whole Joe Rogan situations, but I still wish them the best. No, I've never sat down and probably, you know, listened to a whole Joe Rogan podcast before. I am inspired by, his podcast. But I've listened to some India Arie back to 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 back. So it's a difference. I understand both sides. It's a genuine love for people in general. But,
I feel like we got to clear up the whole Joe Rogan thing because we mention his name a lot, so people think we listen to him a lot. I catch Joe Rogan.
I say Joe Rogan style.
Joe Rogan has 3-4 hour podcast every day. Like, I'm not listening to a lot of Joe Rogan. I used to, like, really long time ago, but nowadays I just catch clips that interest me on different topics or a person. But I'm definitely inspired by Joe's style of podcast where it's not necessarily formal, it's genuine conversations. He has a wide variety of people he agrees with, people he doesn't agree with. And to your point earlier, that is something that's lacking these days. It's like, don't just sit with people that you agree with, that's on the same, that are aligned with your thoughts. Like, have conversation with people of a opposing viewpoint just to even learn something new.
You don't have to respond like Joe all the time.
But yeah, we're inspired.
Well, I think that's bullshit.
By his style of, and the fact that he doesn't try to put on a show. Like, he's very transparent for the most part, and
well, that's the comedian side.
It's just more of like his style of podcasting. That's about
his hard work as well.
The air is clear.
Like, I know you guys listen to him all the time, so I had to clear it up.
But
the retraction has been made and the asterisk has been placed. By
Joe, if you're listening, we love you.
Gary Owens, though, Gary Owens, he also is in a position to where,
what about
he make that situation.
Are we talking about him?
Gary Owens, comedian.
Yeah.
No, that's because he on his podcast. I mean, not podcast, but on his stand up. He's like, never say the N word though. I have kids. I got little black kids. I got this. But no, never say it. And that's just you got Gary to understand the rules. So just bring it down. And then that one viral video of that guy, that South Carolina Black History things. Whoa.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about a restaurant?
Yeah, the Applebee's.
Wow.
Like,
all I can say is whoa.
And that's but that's like I said. That's the night and day. That's all Joe was saying. The night and day of his in particular situation.
Yeah, he didn't want to learn that way. The internet rage is totally different than a boy who reached back to about 16, 19, and all the fury of every ancestor. 17 times. Like, you ain't gonna never ever say that again.
So that's, night and day situation. That guy looked like he could have been a politician. I'm just saying, not the black guy, but the guy that was saying it. You never know how they cut out.
I did hear 2 white boys at the beach last weekend where they were I just kept hearing a bunch of N-words, them referring to each other. And then I'm like, they do not sound black. I turned around, I'm like, oh, yeah. Little kids that listen to too much rap music, basically.
And, that's so many situations. Like I said, you got your personal situation, and then you got you standing along looking at the bamboozlers work type of situations. So just, kind of know your situation. Me personally, I've been able to avoid it. That's all I can say. I've been able to avoid it.
Avoid using the N-word?
No, avoid, being in the situation where I've had to respond to being called the N-word, you know?
Oh, because it's never happened to you?
No.
It's never happened to me either.
This is very interesting.
No.
And I lived in Minnesota. I've had like in school principals say like your kind is in there, but like that's about as far as it went. I've never actually.
No, I
well, I mean, on the other hand, though, growing up in Jackson, why would like.
No.
People think like that would be like something that you would see, but I could be like, oh, I could see how you wouldn't have had that because why would you have? You living in pretty much.
But even out here, I think my brother experienced it out here, but I don't think I wasn't around them then.
Yeah, well,
a long time ago.
I have experienced it in California, Louisiana,
you tell us about
Mississippi, Europe. What pick?
Wow.
Like so.
Europe too?
Definitely, Europe has their own set of racial. Well, look, we're not gonna go there, but the point is,
understanding both, like I said, the public side of it, and because you still have it on like I said, from rap music, but not just rap music, but the continuous slave movies that they like to run.
But
is that's really what. It's somewhere in that whole psychological thing that they would, because I think if you quit running the movies and let people get their lessons out the way in life and quit reminding them to try that shit, stop, yo, try it again, yo, try it again, yo, try it again. Once upon a time we used to do this, yo, try it again. That's kind of what I see or what I feel from it. It's like it's a try it again, because that's that Applebee's situation. That was a try it situation, and yeah, then that's why everybody, when he said it how he said it, everybody was like, "Oh, I can't believe he's trying this," because he's trying something. And yeah, we just he got reminded. He got reminded. I've never been in a situation to have to remind some people. A lot of people still get reminded.
Yeah, well.
Whether it's you, whether it's somebody, whether they realizing it now, you can't really say that there's a situation. Like I said, they did that over a long span with Joe Rogan. And I guess we're going to clear that up too. That was a long span. And he's a recorded kind of person. But when you talking about the general public, like that guy, that Applebee's guy, you do have to psychologically wonder what made him.
Oh, I don't have to psychologically wonder. White supremacy made him. Before I go, let me switch. I just want to switch. But you know better. Quick.
But you know what's going to happen.
I just want to switch, because I really feel like that's not the vibration I want to end my exchange with you guys on.
But it's different.
I don't want to.
It was understandable. No, but I'm saying, like I said, it's still psychological, because like I said, even for me personally, I look at the bullshit. I look at the disrespect on it, and I look at the personal part of it. I also look at the public part of it. But like I said, I'm just asking this, like you said, psychologically. What was the guy thinking? Because we still don't know the situation, because all we heard was something about the difference between black people and niggers. We never heard. I don't think Joe said nothing.
It doesn't matter. There's no context where that's acceptable.
Right. I don't need to hear it.
It does.
Right. That's why I said I don't even care. It's already been, to me, it's already been dealt with.
He's been living on this earth long enough to where he either haven't been around
in a long time. You talking about you got to be alone.
No, he's tuned into TV shows or whatever, and it said that.
Try that.
I mean, I've heard that before. There's a difference between black people and niggers.
And that's what I'm saying. So it makes sense. Like you said, it's something TV wise that's telling them to try it.
I don't think that, I don't know how, because I definitely said I wasn't going to talk about this again, so I don't know why I'm still talking about it, but I am going to get back in it real quick just to say it's not TV. Just like we're sitting around having these conversations, people of a particular group sit around and have those conversations, and they talk about those things without the N-words or the darkies or the whatever of the whatever they want to, and it doesn't have to be about black people. It can be about women. It can be about people with disabilities. It could be about other white people that they think they're better than. It's just this a part of their everyday reality. It's as simple as we talking about NFTs. They talk about that and they use that language because that is the conversation that they've always been around. If that's all you ever heard, that's all you ever that's what your music shows, that's what all of the people that you're around reflect. Just think about how many places there are no black people. You grew up in Jackson. You don't know. But there's other people that grew up in places, they're just a minority or they're not existent. There are no others. There's no other language. There's no other culture. This is it. And then you turn on the TV and see the halftime show and you about to have a stroke. What the fuck happened to my America? Like, this is not what I thought. This is where we're at. And that's going to incite your emotions even more. So you using it just left, right, and center. So when you go to Applebee's, let me remind you, because this is how I grew up. That man was probably about 80 years old. He grew up when you look at a black person and they're on the street, you move. Or if you don't, you might lose your life. That's how he grew up. His people probably owned people. Like, getting slapped out, like, in Applebee's is the last thing he probably expected, even though you're saying he tried it. He's been living a life of white supremacy for his whole life, where there's been no other option but to talk that shit and nobody say nothing back to you. He learned that day that there's another way, though. But I'm just saying that is, for some people, their everyday reality, where they talk to and about black people, and some of those black people are standing right there and laugh about that shit. That, too. That happens all the time, too. Because we have plenty of people who look like us and hate themselves. It's just, I don't know. I don't know how I got to talk about these people again.
But no, like I said,
what were you trying to shift to?
But no, that's the psychological part that you still have to wonder in 2022. You know, it's like I said, going back to it, in the spirit of the moment, I asked, what really, because this video is quite maybe new, 2-3 days old, maybe. I don't know what they. So yeah, it's something that they didn't quite put in Black history. Or maybe they did, but how often? It make you wonder how often. They didn't have cell phones like that to catch it back then. So how often maybe really was that really happening?
A lot more than you think. That's why you're talking about why won't they show a different version of what happened. They won't show the plantations getting burned down and the owners getting poisoned in the revolts. They'll only show you about how many times you got beat down and castrated and lied and sold. Because if you show people themselves in a different light where they're resisting, then that is contagious. The same way that if you show them that you've always been subservient, you ain't had shit, we gave you everything you had and everything in between, it creates that narrative. And it also reinvites the trauma of you feeling like you have to go out and earn and do whatever is required of you so that you can show through whatever materialism that you matter, that you are here, that you are recognized. Again, that's the psychology of it. So
you talking about Canada or we talking about slavery?
I'm talking about everything. I'm talking about it all.
You see that's how parallel it really is. After we think about it, like, man.
I keep forgetting about that until it keeps coming back up again.
Mm-hmm. I actually forgot about it until you just said it. But I guess, you know, what I was saying to answer your question, I wanted to ask you something before I left. But really, I just heard it. It really, I get it. I get where you're coming from. And we'll see what happens.
I think we can change a lot of things. So I think we can build our own or a new. It ain't got. I can't say our own. I could say we can build a new platform and just build things that are not censored, which is coming. Music platforms that actually pay. That actually pay what the music is worth, which is, you know, I guess they switching that to NFTs. So it's more educating people on that part. But we definitely got to learn how to stop taking stuff personal and learn how to separate personal from public or personal from bamboozle.
Okay.
Learn how to separate the personal stuff from the bamboozler, because we've been bamboozled about a lot of things. And our guests educate us a lot on a lot of the stuff that we've been bamboozled on, from what the mind is capable of to even what the human body is capable of. Shout out to Barbara.
Shout out.
Man. But, you know, it's we got a lot to work on. Consistent self-improvement. I wish we just can come out of this healthy. I wish we can come out of this all as one people. I really wish that the bamboozler loses his power a lot. And where we are now, 2022, we can start to, you know, kind of vibrate a whole lot closer towards that acoustic soul vibration, that, you know, nature and
we are
promises.
I think that's happening.
Promises, yes.
I receive that.
We're constantly being shown that, you know, the powers that be are the power of illusion. So things are getting better, but they will try to convince you on the way down. So, you know, it's all perspective. Like, we control it as a collective, what direction we're going. And if we keep, you know, stay positive, you know, every person stays positive, and, you know, we can drive the trajectory towards a positive world.
Yeah.
So
I'm on
but
that.
everything is good. Everything is good. I guess to go back to tell you something good, it's hard to.
No, that's
even
good.
from that, but for
Everything
us,
is
man,
good.
We're in LA, California. Spring is right around the corner. You know, the weather's about to get good, and we some outdoor people. So, gotta just find the good in the small things.
Mm-hmm. It's there. It's definitely there. I mean, for me, I guess I'll say what's good is being able to be in this space again. I'm glad that we had a chance to circle back.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks.
Circle back. So, I mean, we're jumping back into it consistently. It is important that people have vacation time and use it. It is important that people travel and build and develop. And so that's what's been happening behind the scenes for all of us. I think that it's just been a really prosperous season so far, 2022, with the attention to so many different projects. I'm just thankful that we have remained committed to bring this product to the forefront. And I know we're running on fumes some days, but we still come in with a level of energy and love and appreciation for one another and our perspectives. And it's just really good to be in the space again. So
it's good to have you back in the space.
Thank you. And
congratulations to the Rams as well.
Yeah, that's a good thing to say.
Oh
yeah. That energy is, I could say, one of the best things that, because I was a little concerned. I was like, man, I know how this energy thing work, and if they lose, I mean, the whole city gonna be like, So if they win, I mean, the whole vibration of the city gonna be like, yeah. So we'll feel it, and I can say we're feeling it.
That's it. And closing out, just think about what you want to bring to fruition for 222. Yes. 2-2. It's coming up real fast. Yep. There's a couple of things that I'm going to do tonight, and
that's what I was gonna say earlier too. The portal is open. It doesn't open at 222. Mm-hmm. It is already open. Set your intentions.
I like it. Say it again. It's already open.
It's
That's
already
right.
open.
Yeah.
222 is just the peak of it. So set your intentions.
Yeah, I'm with it.
And we lost video feed. Apologize about that.
Yeah.
So
I guess
consistent
that's our
self-improvement, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for listening. You can find merch at
luamlee.com. We have consistent self-improvement t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, all kinds of things. And for the podcast, you can find us at americangypsy.com. Actually, you can find links to everything there, to classics music, to all the podcast episodes, and to the merch, to our Patreon, as well as PayPal donation. You'll find links to that on americangypsy.com. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Consistent self-improvement to everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.